In this video, we'll be taking a detailed look and unboxing of the most metal of all suspension forks, the Marzocchi Z1 Coil. Sorry about that, my inner metalhead got out there. Back to the usual viewing experience now. So let's roll back the clock and unbox these and see what comes in the package. As you can see, they come in a large cardboard box. Branding wise, you're not even going to know these are suspension forks unless you know what Marzocchi makes. There's only a single label on the box detailing what's inside. And as you can read, I've gone for the Z1 Coil in a 29er wheel option for 170mm of travel. It has the grip sweep adjust damper. As you might have noticed, I've gone for gloss red, but matte black is the other option available. It's got a 15mm boost axle, an inch and an 1/8 to 1.5 taper steerer tube. I've gone for a low offset 44mm rake option. A 51mm rake option is also available. First thing, I want to say thank you to Marzocchi for giving us pretty sustainable and environmentally friendly packaging here. We've got minimum plastic and everything seems to be cardboard, so recyclable. But I have a top tip for you. I tend to keep my fork boxes as they're handy to send a fork away if they need servicing. So that's what I'd say. If you've got the space for it, keep the box up in your loft or something like that. One thing to note about this fork is you can change the travel that it uses. It can go from 150 to 170 by flipping some internal spaces. This is something I'm going to do on my bike. So if you can't find the travel you exactly want, you can always take them apart and adjust it down or upwards. So within the box we have the forks and a bag with instructions and a few little accessories. We'll have a look at the accessories later and start by looking at the forks. So, first impressions when handling the forks by hand is they're not as heavy as everybody makes out. To me, they feel fairly reasonable, chunky but reasonable. The fork steerer is made from aluminium. The grip sweep adjustable damper feels very smooth in hands. There's no detents, so it's infinitely adjustable between fully stiff and fully open. And on the opposite side we have the spring preloader. This is used to set the correct sag height. Working down the left side of the fork, we can see we have a chart for setup. This cross-references rider weight, spring rate and a suggested rebound setting from the rebound damper. As standard, the forks only come with the medium spring, so if you fall out of the range of this spring you will need to purchase an additional spring to suit your rider weight. For me, I might have to go up to the firm spring. On the right hand leg we have some warnings about maximum tyre size and clearance. Basically states you need a minimum of 8.5mm I think clearance between the tyre and the fork, otherwise at full compression you're likely to inadvertently have the tyre hit the fork ground and go over the bars. We have this little protector here on a quick release. Let's remove that and get a good look at what the quick release looks like. rebound knob is protected by this black cap, which is threaded on over it, which is a nice feature, I think. As you can see, as well as being a 29er fork, this fork can also be used for a 27.5 plus, if that's the sort of wheel size and tyre combo you like to ride. The fork axle is a quick release type, which is really handy. It means you don't have to take a set of Allen keys out with you if you get a puncture on your front wheel to remove the fork axle. At the end of the axle there is an Allen key. I believe this is to set up the clocking of the quick release, so you can tighten it down and snug it in a vertical position. It gives you a little bit of adjustment. At the other end of the axle where it threads in, it looks like this feature is replaceable, so if you end up screwing the threads up somehow, your fork doesn't have to be thrown away. To me, looking at this, it looks like you would need a pin spanner to remove this threaded feature from the fork casting. On the lower leg arch, we have a nice sticker here saying Z1 Coil, separating it out from the normal air-sprung Z1. On the reverse of this arch, you can see where the casting is wasted away to save weight and collect mud. Not great for the UK, but it also has two threaded features here where you can screw a mudguard to, so that's something I'll be looking into for my use in our soggy UK conditions. And the brake caliper mount is the latest 180mm standard for more aggressive enduro type bikes. Changing angle here to have a bit of a fly around the lower leg casting in more detail. I'm quite a fan of these Bomber Z1 graphics they've applied to the fork. They seem to be decal, so if you don't like them you can peel them off, but to me they really sort of throw back to the classic bright orange and blue Z1 Bomber decals. So I'm a bit of an older rider and they really appeal to me. Looking at this sticker for the Fit Grip Damper, you can see some of the Fox heritage coming through to this fork. If you don't know, Fox Suspension bought Marzocchi suspension a couple of years ago, and this fork is very similar to the 36. On the left side of the lower leg brace here we have this little threaded feature. This is to hold the brake hose, so I should imagine in accessories there'd be a little plastic clip that we can locate here. Also on this side of the forks, on these lovely black anodized aluminium stanchions, you can see this little O-ring. This helps set up the sag of the fork. The preload adjuster on this side has 16 clicks of adjustments. I thought I'd fast forward this because it's a bit boring to watch. The steerer tuber standard looks really long, so if you want a high stack height or you use 40mm of space or something a bit wild, you should be able to do that. Moving on to the grip compression damper adjuster. As you can see, there's no clicks to this adjustment, it's just fully open or fully closed and anywhere in between where you fancy setting it. It feels like there's plenty of friction here to set it in position and leave it. It won't wander, I don't think. Right, let's put this beast of a fork on the scales and see what it weighs in at. I'm going to use this bit of packaging that come in the box with the forks to help me balance them, because they're quite tricky to balance on the scales. So, like I said, it's a little tricky to balance them, and I think on average these come in at just over 2.5 kilos, which I think is fair for a coil sprung suspension fork. I think the coil adds 300 to 400 grams over the air fork. Finally, if you're still watching, which would surprise me at this stage, we're going to have a quick look at these accessories. We have a little baggie here containing the staff angle nut which needs to be pressed into the fork steerer, and it also has the hose clip and a little tiny bolt to screw it into the fork. really nice Marzocchi sticker here in red. Everybody loves the sticker or knows someone that does. In this pamphlet we have the tuning guide, which is in English and really clear and easy to read. I found it quite refreshing compared to most. At the end there's some notes so you could write down your settings you find best. So if you forget them, you can always go back and refer to them. Finally, we have the owner's guide that comes in a variety of language and has more details about service intervals and safety features you have to be critical of, but you know, you can read it if you really want to. So this is about it for this first look and unboxing of these Marzocchi Z1 coil forks. I'm going to have another video coming out soon where I'm going to reduce the travel down on these to 150mm and install them on my project Cotic Easy. So thanks for watching this video, I'll see you in the next one and rock on. Cheers.